Ladies and gentlemen, today we are traveling to Uganda, and in one statement from Uganda's president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has started a serious conversation across Africa. And this is the question he is asking: why are you selling your children? Why? Now let's talk about it. In Uganda right now, if you're a man and want to marry, you have to have a budget, and you should be thinking about 15 to 16 cows. Not only that, you have to think about the millions of shillings, aside from all the other costs involved in the traditional requirements and the marriage process. So at this point, the question I ask myself is that, are we getting married, or we are starting a livestock company? Because hey, I don't understand this one. Now, before you even come after me, I am not the one insinuating this, and it's not as if I picked the story from a random place. Not at all. You see, one of the African leaders that I love and admire from afar is the Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. And in a widely shared video from a public event, he was talking, and whilst he was talking, he came to a point, and then he questioned the practice of demanding many cows and huge sums of money as bride price for many Ugandan families. So he asked, why this thing that you are doing, are you selling your children? Because for him, he said at his time he didn't even pay those bride price. He said they asked of cows, but even if he had the money, then he wouldn't have paid for the cows. Let us watch some of his videos.
I never paid the bride price, for instance. I didn't have it. How could I? I couldn't. Fortunately, my in-laws didn't even ask, but I wouldn't have given even if they had asked. Yes. Why should I pay the bride price? For what? Why does?
So he went on further to say that, look, this kind of demands makes our young men in Uganda afraid to marry our young women, and this will be a cost to these young couples. So you should be careful. I think he's planning to bring an end to this, because if he doesn't, I think this is not a good thing. You know why? If a young man in Uganda today wants to settle with his lover, to marry his dream woman, he would have to do some quick mathematics. And here is it: a healthy cow in Uganda can cost roughly 1.5 to 2 million Ugandan shillings, which approximately, when you convert it into dollars, that would be around 410 to 550 US dollars. That means that 15 cows alone could cost somewhere between 6,000 to 8,200 US dollars. And that's only for the cows. Add the cash demands, the gifts, the traditional ceremonies, and other customary requirements, and in some cases you are looking at over 10,000 US dollars to marry a Ugandan woman. Wow. For my Ghanaian audience, do you know how much this is? That's roughly around 117,000 Ghana cedis. Over 1 billion old Ghana cedis. And that's for my Nigerian audience. You break the scale. Be thinking of 13 to 14 million naira. So Oga, if you dey Nigeria where you find a Ugandan woman where you won't go marry am, think about it. For God's sake, think about this. I think I now understand why some beautiful Ugandan ladies are in my DM saying, hello handsome, have you considered relocating to Uganda? Would you like to marry a Ugandan woman? My sweet and beautiful Ugandan sisters, I love you all. You are so sweet and beautiful. But until the cows reduce, I'm sorry, I can't come. In Ghana, the average person will have to work for 7 years to get that money. The average income earner. But on a more serious note, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we should gradually move towards a society where marriage doesn't become a financial burden for a man. A man who simply wants to marry the woman he loves. When two adults genuinely love each other and want to build a family and life together, culture should unite them, not make marriage feel impossible. Culture shouldn't split them. Let's be honest. In many of our African societies, the greater portion of the financial burden, and sometimes all of it, falls on the man alone. So if we truly want to reduce societal issues like cohabitation, delayed marriages, broken relationships, children being born outside stable homes, and single parenthood, and all the other things, we must also have some honest conversations about whether some of these high demands are even necessary in the first place, because this becomes too heavy for young men in this generation. You see, culture is beautiful, tradition is important, but every tradition should ask itself one question: is this helping the present generation or making it more difficult for them? So yes, there should be a cultural assimilation, there should be a cultural change. You cannot stick to the old culture that now is hurting the people or is causing a lot of difficulty for the people. So at this point, I would like to urge Mr. President of Uganda, since you have also publicly acknowledged this concern, perhaps your government can explore practical ways to support these young men. Not by paying people's bride price directly, that's not what I'm asking for, but maybe through policies like affordable or free housing schemes for newly married couples. Some public trusts or relief funds can be set up to allow people to donate freely to support young men who wants to marry, or maybe a low interest family development loans to help couples who are newly married to start life. There's a lot that the government can think about in terms of policies to help these young people so that they'll be able to marry, or maybe laws can be set to cut those kind of requirements, maybe. And I'm not leaving this to the government alone. I am calling on the churches and other religious bodies in Uganda to come in. It's time you come in to help the situation, because imagine if churches created marriage support funds. Muslims do the same thing, other religions do the same thing. Reduce wedding fees, offer free premarital counseling, take some of the cost or part of the cost of your members. If it's a church member, if it's a part of your religious group, bear some of the cost for the person, because you are promoting morality. And if the person wants to marry and it's difficult for the person, obviously the person will continue committing adultery. So help the person. So churches, religious bodies, please come in. Marriage should be encouraged, not feared. Marriage shouldn't be a battle for a man. And to my Ugandan brothers, my handsome brothers in Uganda, if the negotiations become too difficult, don't limit yourselves to Uganda. Come to Ghana, come to Nigeria, come to Cote d'Ivoire, explore other African countries. Go anywhere in Africa where you find a woman who loves you and where both families can agree on a reasonable marriage requirements, so that you don't have to forcefully do what you cannot do. So here, as for this one, I promise one thing, and I'm being honest with you. If that time comes, invite me to the marriage ceremony and I would gladly attend. I'll be part as a guest. So ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Sikadwa Kofi, and that's my point of view once again. If today is your first time watching me, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and come back. Let us have another meaningful conversation about Africa, our culture, lifestyle, politics, religion, and all of that. Until next time, God bless you. And it is bye-bye for now.